My speech tonight will be on how schoolwork affects students' health. Specifically, I will be persuading you that schoolwork has a bad effect on students' mental health and social lives. Have you ever been so overwhelmed and stressed out by your schoolwork that you cry? It's okay, we've all done it, probably. I know I have. And this is because you don't have enough time in the day to get everything done. Let's say you have classes from 8 to 3, and maybe you have a free period during that, but you're trying to do homework then. You have to eat at some point. And let's say you also play a sport and have a job. So 8 to 3 classes, right? And after that, maybe you have 30 minutes to an hour or 2 hours of sports practices, depending on the sport, or maybe you're in a club. After that, you might have time to go home. You might be able to eat dinner, you might be able to get changed, and then you might have to go to work. Let's say you work evenings, and most places like restaurants don't have set schedules. It's whenever you get everything done. Let's say you get out of work at 9:30 on a good night. The latest you've gotten out, maybe 10:30, 11. How do you get 8 hours of sleep if you have to be up at 8 in the morning the next day? You might say, oh, I get home at 10:30, I have time to shower, eat, and go to sleep. But wait, you're forgetting the most important thing of all, homework. On average, it is said that students spend about 1 to 3 hours every evening doing homework, if they do it. So, how are they going to get the minimum 8 hours of sleep? If they get home around 10, they have to eat, get changed, maybe they have some family meeting or whatever, and then they have 3 hours of homework on top of that. That will leave you going to bed around maybe 1:30, hopefully at least. And then you have to get up before 8 the next morning in order to get dressed and look presentable for your next class. It is said that many students feel like they have no free time, which is understandable considering the statistics and hour numbers I have given you. However, this is an interesting argument because teachers and parents both say students do have enough free time, but they just choose to spend it doing other things that are non-essential, such as video games or doing a hobby that they like. I think sports is one of the main things that teachers target. They'll say, oh, you have time to do sports. Oh, you have time to go to work. So why don't you have time to do your homework? Because each of these things is a time commitment. I'm not saying that homework should be completely eradicated, because each of those things is beneficial in the long run. In Finland, they don't have homework. Instead, they focused on student-based learning, which means that students can go home, spend time with their families and their friends, which means they can socialize. They can have time to themselves, time to de-stress, decompress, which is good for your mental health. But Finland also does something else. When a student is struggling, they'll find a way to adapt their learning system so that the student can benefit. In the short video, How Much Homework is Too Much, it is said that all ages, elementary through collegiate, are affected by having too much homework, which leaves no time for socializing, like I said. In McCall's article, a student, she said, students spend too much time doing homework, which results in loss of sleep and increased stress and anxiety.